Do you believe in luck? Oprah once said, I don't know much about luck, but the harder I work, the luckier I get. Totally agree. And I love that because if you've ever felt like a failure, maybe you've told yourself, they just got lucky. I wasn't born with the right chances. But here's the truth. Luck is only part of the story. Yes, luck exists. Timing matters, circumstances matter, but success is never only about luck. What really matters is how you use the hand you've been dealt. The authors of The Unfair Advantage, Ash Ali and Hasan Kubba, have this powerful idea. Every single one of us has unique edges. They call them unfair advantages. These are the qualities, the circumstances, and opportunities that tilt the game in your favor. And here's the twist. They're not always obvious. Sometimes what looks like a weakness on the surface is actually part of your advantage. The book breaks unfair advantages down to something called the Miles framework. Let's go through it together. M is for money, the obvious one. Having financial resources, savings, or family support makes risk-taking easier. But even if you don't have much money, maybe you've developed resourcefulness or creativity as a result. I is for intelligence and insight. This isn't just about IQ. It's about creativity, emotional intelligence, perspective. And sometimes the way you see the world differently becomes the exact insight that helps you stand out. L is for location and luck. Being in Silicon Valley helps if you're building a tech startup. Being in the right room, meeting the right mentor, landing your first opportunity by chance, yes, it helps. But luck isn't something you just wait for. It's something you increase by showing up. Now, E from the Miles framework. E is for education and expertise. This isn't just about degrees. It's what you learned through your experiences, your failures, your side projects, and your hobbies. S is for status, your network, your reputation, your background, even your identity. Sometimes it's a privilege, and sometimes it's the struggles you've been through that give you the credibility and grit. Now, here's the big idea. You don't need to have all of these. You just need to recognize which ones you already have and lean into them. One of the comments I read on a video was, I feel like I've wasted so many years. Everyone is ahead of me. Can you relate? That feeling of looking around and thinking, oh my God, I should have started earlier. I'm too late at this. But here's the thing. Those years weren't wasted. They gave you the experience, that education and expertise. They gave you resilience. They give you stories that make you relatable. Think about it. The person who has always had a straight path and looks ahead. But when challenges come, they might not have the same grit that you've developed. That grit is your unfair advantage. And another comment that a coaching client said to me once was that I keep comparing myself to others and it makes me feel behind. Comparison is brutal, right? When we scroll online and we see people your age with careers and businesses and houses, and you think, why not me? But here's the reframe. You're comparing their highlights to your behind the scenes. You're comparing their money or location advantages to your day-to-day struggles. And instead, look at what you do have. Maybe you don't have money, but you have insight. And maybe you don't have location, but you have education through lived experience. Maybe your status isn't privilege. Maybe it's your underdog story. Those are unfair advantages too. And here's what most people miss. Success isn't about copying someone else's formula. It's about stacking your own edges. Now, imagine that's someone you know who grew up in a wealthy family and with connections and privileges. Their edge might be money and status, yes. But now imagine someone else who grew up without much, but they developed resilience, a sharp instinct for spotting opportunities and deep empathy for others. Their edge might be insight and education from lived experiences. Both are advantages. Both are unfair in different ways. But if the second person keeps trying to compete in the same exact game as the first person, they'll always feel behind. And these feelings will trigger a different set of actions. Because when you feel behind, you can get discouraged, which will lead you to take less action, and then you get less results in your life, which confirms the thought you started with, which is, I am behind. See how the mind works? So the real power is playing your game with the cards you've been dealt. Okay, I'll give you another example. Let's say you didn't go to a fancy university. You might think that's a disadvantage compared to people with Ivy League degrees. But maybe because of that, you worked part-time jobs. Maybe you hustled to pay rent. Maybe you learned skills outside the classroom that others didn't. Now, when you build a business or navigate challenges, you're scrappy. You can be messy. You're comfortable being comfortable. You know how to figure things out without a safety net. That's an advantage. Okay, or maybe you identify yourself as an introvert. You watch others network effortlessly and you feel left out. But introverts often have the advantage of being deep listeners, noticing things others miss, building stronger one-on-one relationships. That's an unfair advantage too. See how this works? What you think disqualifies you can actually set you apart. Now, does this mean luck doesn't matter? Of course not. Luck matters. Timing matters. Location matters. But here's what people forget. You can increase your odds of getting lucky by showing up consistently, by putting yourself in new rooms, by creating small projects that gets noticed, by building relationships. Luck often looks random from the outside, but from the inside, it's just preparation meeting opportunity. I love this quote. I don't remember where I heard it, but I never forgot it. Please hear me out. If you're watching this video, it means the message I have here was meant for you today. So if you're sitting thinking, I've wasted time, I don't have the money, I don't know the right people, pause. Instead of focusing on what you don't have, look at what you do have. You always have something. We all have something. Your experiences, that's education. Your resilience, that's insight. Your network, even if it's small, that's status. Your environment, that's location. And you can shape it. You already have edges. The work is in recognizing them. So instead of asking, am I lucky? Ask yourself, what unfair advantages do I already have? And how can I use them today? Because when you stop chasing someone else's version of success, when you stop comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight, and when you start stacking your own edges instead of resenting theirs, that's when everything changes, I promise you. You stop waiting for luck. You start creating momentum and you realize you were never behind. You just hadn't spotted your advantage yet. Thank you for watching.